What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Zay Moolah Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and tonight I will be giving y'all my top 25 college football predictions slash picks. But before I get into it, I just want to say thank y'all once again for all the love, all the support. Without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get into it. So, y'all, I got to be honest. Yeah, this week in college football is it's just okay. I mean, we have a couple of big games, but outside of that, I mean, most of these games will more than likely be blowouts. But hey, I still want to get my picks. So first game, we got Syracuse taking on the Florida State Seminoles, and yeah, man. I mean, Florida State. I told y'all last week, man. I think Florida State is the second best team in the country right now. I just think Jordan Travis. They got Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman. I really love their offense. I really love the playmakers that they have. And yeah, I mean Syracuse. Like I said, Syracuse should have beat Clemson a couple weeks ago. They didn't, and then y'all saw what happened to Syracuse last week. Got absolutely demolished by North Carolina. So give me Florida State big over the Syracuse Orange. Next up, we got Arkansas going on the road to take on Alabama, and you're looking at Arkansas, man, really struggling, right? 2-4, and it's crazy. You know, just a couple years ago, Arkansas was the team that a lot of people believed in. They won 8 games, and people were like, okay, Arkansas is kind of back. And now you look 2 years later, man, they're 2-4. They're really struggling defensively. They still got KJ Jefferson. I still like KJ Jefferson, right? Like he's still a really good quarterback, but their defense is so bad. And you're looking at Alabama, man. I picked Alabama to lose last week. Hey, they got it done against Texas A&M on the road. Jalen Milroe had his first great game, threw for over 300 yards. So, yeah, man, I mean, there's no way Alabama loses this game. Give me Alabama big. Next up, I mean, come look at this, y'all. Georgia Georgia taking on Vanderbilt. I mean, y'all, there ain't much to say other than this. Georgia's gonna win by at least 40. At least 40. If Georgia doesn't win by 40, yeah, maybe I need to be worried about Georgia. Now I'm playing, but Georgia's gonna win this game by 40. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, Georgia, y'all saw what they did to Kentucky last week. I mean, come on, Carson Beck, Brock Bowers. Yeah, I mean, come on, Georgia wins this game by 40. Next up, Ohio State going to Purdue. And again, I told y'all, man, that this week in college football was not great. This is gonna be another blowout. Purdue, new coach, Ron Walters, right? This is his first year, so they're figuring out things. Ohio State, I picked them to lose last week against Maryland. I thought Maryland can go in there upset. And actually, Maryland did. Like for the first 3 quarters, they did. It was 20-17, and then the fourth quarter, Ohio State just ran away with the game. But yeah, man, I know Emeka Ibuka, he will be out tomorrow, but Marvin Harrison Jr., the best receiver in the nation, Cal McCord, I think they'll go crazy. Yeah, give me Ohio State big versus Purdue. Next up, another blowout, y'all. Indiana versus Michigan. I mean, I told y'all this week in college football is just not that great. Indiana, I think Tom Allen's on the hot seat. I think he should be fired. Indiana has not done anything since that 2020 season. Meanwhile, Michigan, man, continues to roll on. I mean, Michigan, that dominant win they had against Minnesota last week. I mean, gosh, man, Michigan, y'all, is such a physical and tough team. And a lot of teams just cannot match that physicality because the way Michigan's gonna beat you, man, they're gonna beat you at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they got some big boys on the O line, on the D line, and they come in waves. Right? Michigan has a lot of depth to their defensive line, especially. So, give me Michigan at home. Oh yeah, this is gonna be an easy win. So, give me Big Blue big over Indiana. Next up, we got Cal traveling to Utah to take on Utah. And Utah, man, coming off a tough loss. Coming off a tough loss, against Oregon State a couple of weeks ago. Utah, though, at home is very tough at home. Utah, once again, kind of like Michigan. Like Utah and Michigan are very similar to each other, man, because they don't have the best quarterbacks, right? They don't. Like Cam Rising, he's okay, but they win their games defensively. And they win, by the run game, just beating you up, being physical, punching you in the mouth. Cal, I mean, come on, man. Y'all know Cal ain't been good since Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch were there. There ain't much to say about them. So I don't think this will be a blowout per se, but I do think Utah will win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. So give me the Utah Utes to win against Cal. Next up, man, to me, this is the game of the day right here. Oregon Ducks traveling to Washington to take on them Washington Huskies. And man, y'all, this is going to be an amazing game to watch. I'm going to be watching this game. And to me, you're looking at two Heisman candidates right here. Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, Washington's quarterback Michael Penix Jr. I think this will be a high scoring game, like super high scoring game. I think both teams probably get into like the 50s, and whoever gets the ball last is going to win the game. But I think Washington being at home, Michael Penix Jr., y'all, if y'all have not looked at Michael Penix Jr., please look at him, because people are not really talking about him, man. He, to me right now, when it comes to quarterbacks in the 2024 draft, because I don't think Shedeur is coming out. I think Shedeur is going to come out in 2025. So right now I have Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Michael Penix Jr. Not a lot of people are talking about Michael Penix Jr., but man, this dude is an absolute baller. Left-handed quarterback, but oh my gosh, his accuracy is on point. His rhythm, his timing. Michael Penix Jr., man, this dude is an absolute baller. I'm gonna take Washington at home in a high-scoring game to beat the Oregon Ducks. And man, I think Michael Penix Jr. is gonna throw for like 6 touchdowns, and it's gonna be a very high-scoring game. So y'all check that out. But yeah, give me Washington to win the game. Next up, again, this is going to be one of those cookie-cutter blowout games, UMass versus Penn State. I'm not even going to talk about this game. Penn State wins big, excuse me. I mean, easy win. So, y'all, let's get to these last few remaining games. So, we have Kansas. Shout out Rock Chalk Jayhawk. We have Kansas going to Oklahoma State, Stillwater, to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And you're looking at Kansas. I think Jalen Daniels, I'm pretty sure Jalen Daniels will be out. But, hey, their backup quarterback, Jason Bean, that brother's a baller too, though. So I like Jason Bean. Kansas, man, 5-1 once again. Y'all know they got off to that 5-0 start last year. I think this Kansas team is for real. I think they can win about 9 or 10 games this year. I really like them. Oklahoma State, I know Oklahoma State beat Kansas State last week, but Oklahoma State is not the same team that they normally are, right? And they're not the same team that they were like 2 years ago. Like 2021, they were one game away had they won the Big 12 championship game from going to the college football playoff. And now you're looking at 2 years later, and Oklahoma State looks like a shell themselves. So give me Kansas to win on the road. It will be a tough game, though. Like, it is very tough to play in Stillwater, man. If any of y'all have ever watched Oklahoma State home games, y'all know it is a tough place to play in. But I think Kansas with Jason Bean will go in there and get a win. So give me Kansas. Next up, man, we got Texas A&M traveling to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. And Texas A&M, what a disappointing game last week. I feel like they really gave their game away to Alabama, especially the second half of their defense. I mean, you got to give Jalen Milroe credit, though, because he definitely shredded Texas A&M's defense in the second half. I feel like the first half they were keeping him in check, but the second half they couldn't get any pressure on him. Their corners were getting torched, man, and it was just a really, really bad performance by their defense in the second half. The Tennessee Volunteers, man. Tennessee, though, has looked kind of iffy this year, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, offensively. They look very iffy, and that's really because Joe Milton, right? He's an amazing runner, but y'all, his throwing mechanics definitely need a lot of work. But you know, Tennessee still has great playmakers. They still got Jabari Small in the backfield. So it's hard not to like Tennessee in this game. You know what? Oh man, see, this is such a tough game to predict, y'all, because I really do wonder if Texas A&M are they still hanging on to that game from last week, and are they still kind of focused on that game? Because especially when you have a big game like that and a game that you know that you let get away, sometimes they can take a toll on you mentally and physically. And I'm worried that Texas A&M might still let that game kind of bother them. But, oh, man, you know what, y'all? I'm rolling with the Aggies again. I'm rolling with Texas A&M. I know I picked them last week. They lost, but you know what? I think Texas A&M, I think they come out furious. I think they're really, really upset that they lost last week. So give me the Aggies to upset the Volunteers. Next up, man, Louisville traveling on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. And I told y'all that Louisville was going to beat Notre Dame, but they did more than that. I mean, y'all, they just absolutely demolished Notre Dame, really. I mean, my goodness. And I said the reason Notre Dame was going to lose is because, wow, y'all, Notre Dame had been battle tested the last 2 weeks, playing Ohio State, playing Duke, man. That takes a toll on you mentally, physically, emotionally. And I said Notre Dame had nothing left to give. And if you watch that game, they didn't have any energy left in that game. Give Louisville a ton of credit, man. Jeff Brom, his first year, he's from Louisville. If y'all didn't know it, Jeff Brom is from Louisville. His first year, 6-0. This is a big game for them, though. Huge, huge, huge game. Because good teams go on the road and win games like this that they're supposed to win. Like really, really good teams do this. I believe that Louisville's a really good team. I believe that right now they would be my pick to win the ACC because I really, really like Louisville. So give me the Louisville Cardinals to win this game. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I think this game probably at halftime is gonna be very close. Might even be tied up because Louisville's come off a big, big win, emotional win as well, right? They were in front of their home crowd. Donovan Mitchell was there. Jack Harlow was there. Everybody is happy. Everyone's talking about Louisville. So hopefully Louisville, man, will go take care of business. I think they will. So give me the Louisville Cardinals to win. Next up, we have the Auburn Tigers going to LSU to face the LSU Tigers. LSU, I picked them to lose last week to Missouri. And at first, everything was going well when it came to my pick. But, man, Jaden Daniels, I mean, this dude is an absolute freak and monster at the quarterback position. I mean, his running ability and his throwing ability. Malik Neighbors is one of the top receivers in the nation. But LSU's defense is still hot garbage, as Deion Sanders like to say, hot garbage. LSU's defense is hot, hot, hot garbage. You look at Auburn, man. You know, a couple weeks ago when Auburn played Georgia, right, they were able to really, really run the ball at Georgia. And I think Auburn's going to have to do this against LSU. But with that being said, I am going to take the LSU Tigers to win this game because I do think Auburn, you know, this is their first year. Hugh Freeze is the new coach, and they got a lot to figure out still, right? Like Auburn still is missing a lot of depth on both sides of the ball. So that worries me facing a team like LSU that's so explosive. So their defense is going to be on the field a lot. But I do think Auburn can – I think Auburn, I ain't going to lie, I think in the beginning people are going to be surprised that this game is probably going to be closer than it should be. But I think in the end, man, LSU with that firepower again, Jaden Daniels to Malik Neighbors, bro, that's one of the best 1-2 connections right there in college football right now. So I just think that would be too much for Auburn to overcome. So give me the LSU Tigers to win that game. Next up, we got the Arizona Wildcats going to Washington to face, going to Washington State to face the Washington State Cougars. And you're looking at Washington State last week, and man, I don't know what the heck happened to Washington State's offense. My boy Cam Ward, y'all, really struggled against UCLA's defense. UCLA's defense was definitely disguised the coverages very well, so give them credit. And I think that's what got Cam Ward confused because the way they were disguising the coverages and bringing blitzes at him, I don't think he was ready for that. But they're back home. They're facing the Arizona team that almost put out the upset against USC. So I think Arizona, though, is coming in this game with their hair on fire. Washington State knows they need to win this game to really stay in the Pac-12 race because, y'all, this Pac-12 is so loaded. So if Washington State loses this game, they're kind of technically out of it because you got so many great teams in the Pac-12. So with that being said, I think Cam Ward has a huge game. Give me Washington State to win, but this will be a close game, man. This will be a close game because, y'all, I didn't think Arizona could keep up with USC last weekend. Man, I mean, that thing went to triple overtime. So give Arizona credit. But I think Washington, again, like I said, Washington State, being at home, and Cam Ward, y'all, he's such a dynamic quarterback. He has a bounce-back game. Give me the Washington State Cougars. Next up, we have the Missouri Tigers going to Lexington, Kentucky to face the Kentucky Wildcats. And you're looking at a Missouri team last week that gave it away. But they stayed in the fight with LSU the entire game, man. Honestly, they look like the better team. The final score, obviously, got skewed a little bit because Brady Cook threw that interception. They got returned for a touchdown. So this final score was 49-39, but it was obviously a closer game than that. You're looking at Kentucky team though. That I mean, wow, Kentucky. I knew Kentucky was gonna lose, but I thought they could have kept the game somewhat close at first. But no, they just got dominated, man. They really, really got dominated in the trenches, which is surprising because one thing that Kentucky hangs their hat on is being a tough, physical, gritty team, and they got dominated. They got bullied up front in the trenches. You got to give though Georgia credit. I mean, Georgia's a freaking juggernaut, but man, I think Kentucky comes back at home playing in front of their fans, man. It's a sellout game, y'all. 6:30 at night. Y'all know it. Kentucky, man, they get that place rocking, boy. They get that place rocking. I think Kentucky comes out. They got a chip on their shoulder for real because they know last week, man, they got absolutely annihilated by Georgia. So I think Kentucky, they show up, man, for their fans at home. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats to win the game. Next up, we have the USC Trojans taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And man, USC, what in the world was that? This defense for USC, y'all, yeah, it's going to stop them from winning the national championship for real. Like, it might even stop them from getting to the college football playoff, let alone actually winning the entire thing. USC defense is really, really, really bad. I mean, my goodness, y'all. Arizona does not have a very explosive offense, but they made Arizona's offense look really, really great last week. USC, I mean, Caleb Williams he had a really bad game. I think he was 14 of 25 and only threw with 218 yards, but that's an outlier game for him. Like, we know Caleb Williams, that's not what he does. And then when I was talking about Louisville earlier, I kind of discussed Notre Dame, but yeah, Notre Dame, y'all, I mean, my goodness, bro. They faced Ohio State, then Duke, then Louisville, and now USC. I mean, this team has not caught a break whatsoever. And like I said earlier, y'all, that takes a toll on you mentally, physically, and emotionally. When you are facing 4 straight ranked opponents, that is very difficult to go against. It's very difficult to keep your energy at a high level. So, honestly, I would pick Notre Dame had they have not played 3 straight ranked opponents. But I just don't think Notre Dame has any energy left in them. I don't think they have any fight left in them. I think I'm looking at a team that's tired, that's exhausted, that needs a break. So because of that, I'm going to pick USC kind of by default. And because USC still has the better quarterback, right? I mean, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the nation, but their defense is really bad. But like I said, y'all, because Notre Dame, I know this is a tired team. You could tell last week when they played Louisville, they're a tired team. I just don't think they have anything left to give. Because of that, I'm going to take USC to win this game. But this will probably be another close game for USC because this defense is so bad. Next up, oh, Lord have mercy. The freaking Miami Hurricanes travel to UNC to take on the Tar Heels. And, man, let me just say this. Mario Cristobal, bruh, dude, if I was the Miami athletic director, bro, you and all your coaches would have been fired last week. Why in the world with 33 seconds left in a freaking game, when Georgia Tech has no timeouts left, why are you running the football instead of just taking the knee and ending the game? That is one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. I cannot even think of a time where I've seen a coach that is winning the game, the opponent has no timeouts, and it's 33 seconds left, and he decides to run the football instead of taking a darn knee. Are you insane, bro? Mario Cristobal. My goodness. All you have to do is take a freaking knee and you win the game. You win the game. You're 5-0. But instead, now you're 4-1. And you traveling to take on Drake May and UNC with this explosive offense. And they got their freaking receiver back, Tez Walker. He's their best playmaker. Wow. Give me the Tar Heels big, y'all. I think this is going to be a blowout. And the reason I think it's going to be a blowout is because I think Miami There's no way they have gotten over that game last week. There ain't no way the players have gotten over this game. Because I know the players got to be really pissed off at Mario Cristobal. Because I know if I was a player on that team, I would be so pissed off at him. Because we should be 5-0 coming into this game. Instead, you 4-1. You're going to lose this game, be 4-2, and you're out of the ACC race altogether. Had Miami won last week, y'all, things are totally different then. But now you coming into this game with a loss when you should be undefeated. And Louisville is undefeated. UNC is undefeated. Now Clemson seems like they kind of coming back a little bit. This ACC is pretty good. Man, give me the Tar Heels big, y'all. I have no kind of confidence in Miami. And now, our last two games. Wow, what a game this will be. UCLA taking on Oregon State. Give credit, y'all, where credit is due, as they say. I had no confidence, y'all. No confidence. No confidence. Right? In UCLA last week. I thought they going to get blown out. Y'all. They surprised me. I thought Washington State's offense was going to be too much for them, but man, UCLA, I mean, their defense really locked up Cam Ward. Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei. Y'all, he looks like the quarterback we thought was going to be at Clemson. I really like the way Oregon State plays. I really do. It's too bad that the Pac-12 is so loaded and that they're playing in the same conference as a USC, a Oregon, or Washington. Because if they weren't, Oregon State, man, could literally win the Pac-12. But I still love Oregon State. They're at home. This is a night game. Once again, y'all, like I said about some of these other teams, the crowd going to be rocking. It's at night. Give me Oregon State and DJ Uiagalelei to win at home. In our last game, y'all, our last top 25 matchup, we have NC State going to Duke. Duke, y'all had that heartbreaking loss against Notre Dame. And your starting quarterback got injured, Riley Leonard. And y'all know on this channel, man, y'all know I'm a big Riley Leonard fan. I think I've mentioned him at least like twice on this channel. I love me some Riley Leonard. I think this kid is going to be a very good quarterback at the next level. But he's banged up. He has a high ankle sprain. Not good, right? Not good. Not good at all, y'all. It's not good. Because NC State is a tough team. They might not have the most talent, but man, they will fight you. They will push you around. And they ain't got no quit in them. So, to all my Duke Blue Devil fans out there, I got to have y'all losing this game, man. I have to. Because Riley Leonard, I know he's expected to play, but he's still banged up. And I just think with NC State's defense, this will be a very low-scoring game. But with Riley Leonard banged up, NC State having a pretty solid defense, this just does not feel like a good game for Duke. So I'm sorry to all my Blue Devil fans out there. But I think y'all going to lose the game. Again, it's going to be a very low-scoring game. Very low-scoring game. But I think Duke will lose the game. And NC State will pull off the little mini. This will be a mini upset. Not a major upset, but the little mini upset. So, y'all, that was my picks for the top 25 games of college football this week. Give me y'all thoughts. Tell me if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. This was another episode of the Zay Moolah Sports Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all know I'm gonna end it, man. God bless. I love y'all. Good night. Say it with me, y'all. Peace.